Hello everybody, welcome back. Thanks for joining me. So the first message to give you is that I've upgraded the sound. So I've bought the Audio-Technica AT2020, which I'm informed by trusted sources that this is the best or one of the better microphones to use for video blogging. So I got it and I think the sound is a lot better. If you agree or disagree, even add a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. So what I've been doing this morning is I had a crash a couple of days ago in Unity and I thought I'd lost my scenes, okay, which is, if you know anything about Unity, is a total disaster because you basically have to create the scenes again and everything's really in the scenes. I mean, you're bringing in the assets, but you're kind of mixing it all together in the scenes. So as it happened, I hadn't lost the scenes. I had just saved them into a folder that I then forgot about. But it did bring to mind that I want to start taking version control seriously. Okay, so my backup strategy. Now in Unity, I was using this collaborate tool, but to be honest, it's a bit opaque. You can't really see what's going on. I'm sure it's fine, but I'm a bit cautious by nature, so I guess I wanted to go back to what I usually use, to what I understand, and that is the Bitbucket as my remote repo service, and Mercurial as just the set of command line tools that you use to manage your version controlling locally. So that's usually fine, okay. If you're familiar with version control, you add your files, which creates your local repo, and then you can upload them to something like Bitbucket or GitHub if you want then. But with Unity, because Unity projects are so big, and if you're using something like Bitbucket, which has I think it's about a 2 GB max for the whole repo, you could soon max out, because I mean a single Unity project, when it adds in all the default files, it could be a couple of 100 meg, when in fact the things that make your project unique maybe only a couple of megabytes. So it's a bit pointless adding all those other files. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, this is the project folder for Planet Garden, and you can see here we've got a couple of different files. These guys launch in Microsoft what's it called, Microsoft Code, which is what I use for code editing in Unity. And we've got these other files, bills, which I've created myself for my bills, got a library folder, obj, whatever these are. So the question is, which files am I allowed to exclude and which files should I include? Well, simply put, you include your assets, you include your project settings. The assets are all those things that you want to put into your scenes, models, textures, UI elements, images, scripts, that kind of thing. And your project settings are basically everything that, if I go back to Unity here, and I click on a game object, and we see these specific settings here. Anything I change from the default, that goes into project settings. Okay, so obviously that's key as well. So we just need to add those things. So what I did was, if we go to terminal here, and I'm in my project folder for Planet Garden, the Unity project folder. If I wanted to create a Mercurial repo, I do hgignore. I'm not going to get into that. It'll say I already have it. It already exists. But what I do is I just add or create this file called hgignore. Okay. And I'm using Vim as my editor to have a look at that, but you could use any text editor to edit it. Okay, so I go in here, and I see the first line says that I'm using glob as the syntax. You could use regex as well. I'm not sure, maybe there are others. Glob is just pretty simple. So then I have all these patterns down here, and it just says this is basically just a list of all the files that and the files that match these patterns that I don't want to include in the repo, okay? Which is very handy. So I've added all these, and I'll add these into the comments below at this video, so you can include them yourselves. But if I get out there, if I go back and I just do hgstatus, then the first time I do that, it'll just say, oh, there's these files that, you know, aren't managed. Do you want to add them, kind of thing? And then you'll add them, but they'll only be from the assets and the project settings folders if you've set up that hgignore file correctly. And you can see there I'm a bit into it now, so I've modified 2 of those files in assets and project settings, and I could then just do you know, a hg commit and then push it up to Bitbucket. But basically, in the end of the day, that means that my repo is going to be a lot smaller, and I can then continue to use it for the lifetime of the project with Bitbucket, which is great.